If you love going to the gym, but you're not seeing results, it's because of your eating habits. Or if you're somebody that eats healthy or eat what you think is good for you, and you don't truly have any education behind nutrition and food choices, you need to listen to this. I hear people say all the time, I go to the gym 5, 6 days a week and I'm still not seeing results. Or people tend to think that they're eating healthy, but still they just can't seem to ever truly lose any weight. You need to get some structure to your eating habits. Find a diet, one that you can stick to, and lock in. The truth is, all diets work. But here's the thing, most of them are just not sustainable, especially when you have a significant amount of weight to lose. Let me explain. I see people right off the rip all the time make rational decisions and decide that they need to lose weight, and then they'll just tell themselves that they're going to try intermittent fasting. I'm going to use myself for example. Before I had any education behind food choices and nutrition, had I did intermittent fasting, with the lack of education I had, I would have did the very best I could to probably possibly not eat until 11 and probably stop eating by 6 or 7 p.m. Mind you, in the little window that I have to eat, would have had to eat, I would have ate everything. It's my window to eat, right? I still had no knowledge about calories or protein, and so I would have used that window to probably just eat all kinds of crap. It also would have been very hard for me to build my life, to make my lifestyle fit the intermittent fasting or make it fit into my life. Just for some reason, it just never appealed to me. But now, on the other hand, I have a stepdaughter that did intermittent fasting and she had amazing results. But guess what? She's a lot smarter than me and she's always been active in school and just had education behind food choices. She got off track a little bit with her weight and her eating habits. Then you have some people that do the keto diet. Now, I did try the keto diet and I lost about 12 pounds within probably 2 weeks. But again, it was a rational decision, and I told myself I was going to cut out carbs so I could lose weight, knowing darn well that I love carbs. I was miserable the entire diet. I had hungry headaches. It just wasn't for me. But there's a lady over on the TikTok app that I don't know if she follows me, but sometimes she comments on my videos, and I love her to death. But we always go back and forth. She don't believe in counting calories. She just I guess you can say I maybe cut carbs is what it appears, and she stays up on her proteins and fats. I hope that my concept of how she diets is right. But when I click into her page, she looks amazing. But at the end of the day, like I always tell people, we have three macronutrients. We have fats, carbs, and protein. If you remove either one of them, you're still going to be a lot less likely to go over your calories. Same way with intermittent fasting. If you wake up and if you do it correctly, and let's just say that you don't eat until 11 a.m. and you stop eating at 6 or 7 p.m., throughout that little window that you have to eat, you're still just going to be a lot less likely to go over your calories. I am a calorie counter, and I'm going to, I always prioritize counting my calories and my protein. Very seldom do I just count macros, but I for sure count my calories and my protein. And I'm going to always advocate for that because it just creates so much awareness, and it just gives you a whole new outlook or perspective on food. I don't like to say a relationship with food because we have relationships with people. Food is food. Just always remember that whatever you do to lose weight, you need to be able to see yourself doing it for the rest of your life. And while you don't have to eat in a calorie deficit forever, eventually you will be able to resort back to your maintenance calories. You need to just be able to kind of incorporate this into your life, whether you continue to track or just have, the awareness to be calorically aware of food, and maybe you can eyeball your portions from, then on out. My stepdaughter did intermittent fasting to lose weight, and from my understanding, she still has that work into her life. She recreated her environment, so intermittent fasting, she worked it into her life. When I first started my journey, my clients or anybody brought up intermittent fasting and cutting carbs and all that stuff to me, I would just freak out and just like, no, 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 no. But I'm always open for new ideas and new ways of doing things, especially when, the evidence presents itself. But most of my clients, by the time they come to me, they're similar, if not worse than me or just like me. They already have a bad relationship with food. They already lack education behind food. So if you're starting from the ground up, If you've lost weight before behind, any of the fad diets or somebody's meal plan, I'm going to always recommend calorie tracking. Dieting is hard enough, and as humans, we're just not wired to want to continue doing things that we hate. Nobody wants to cut out carbs for the rest of their life. And for me, personally, I like the convenience of being able to eat all throughout the day and even over into the night. So intermittent fasting it was never for me. But I have had a client that started out tracking calories. She did really well, had lost about 28 pounds tracking calories, and had an event to come up in the past and asked me about intermittent fasting for a few weeks before her event, and I okayed it. But I still suggested to her to track her calories, and of course, once she was done with the intermittent fasting, to result back into tracking calories. So if you're like me and have 50 plus pounds or more to lose, don't go stripping and ruining your metabolism by doing all of these weird diets like juicing or eating all fruit and all vegetables. Know that this stuff sounds sexy, but it is literally just a setup. Take your time and embrace your journey and lose weight at a slow and steady rate without stripping your metabolism any sooner than what is going to happen anyway, because I don't care what diet you choose, even a calorie deficit, eventually it's just inevitable, which goes back to reverse dieting, but I'll do a separate video on explaining that on another day. And if you're someone that has like 50, 60 pounds to lose, and you want to try intermittent fasting and you have a decent concept of food, hey, go for it. I don't care, what you do. I just want y'all to know that if you are frustrated or feeling like you're somebody that can't lose weight, that weight loss just ain't in the cards for you, I promise it all lies in your eating habits. And the easiest way to check it is to download a food tracking app and start tracking your calories. Even if you can't stay in a calorie deficit, you need to learn to become caloric aware of food. Hence, avocados. That is a healthy food, but it's high in calories and it screws a lot of people up. Nuts. That's a healthy fat. But what most people consider a handful of nuts being 150 calories or so, actually, according to how heavy your hand is that day when you reach into that jar of nuts or that package of nuts, you're probably eating about 350 calories, give or take, just in nuts. And it's okay to eat them, but again, you want to learn to become caloric aware of food by using a food scale and tracking your food so you can see what portion sizes look like for you in particular. And even like if you want to do a low carb diet, hey, that's fine, but still, at least lightly track your food. But just don't go counting yourself out before giving yourself a fair chance to see what your body will do for you by following a plan, one that you can tailor into your life. Again, I love tracking calories. I'm going to always advocate for it. It's worked for me, so many of my clients. And at the end of the day, when I was, going on my weight loss journey at the beginning stages, it was one diet that seemed to just really work, that people had the most results with, that people actually were able to sustain their results. Most people that do intermittent fasting or keto diets can generally tell you that, hey, I lost 40 pounds when I did keto years ago, or I lost X amount of pounds when I did intermittent fasting. But then when you look at them, they've gained all the weight back because they never really truly know why they lost weight in the first place, other than, oh, I did intermittent fasting, I did the keto diet. Again, with intermittent fasting, you're still just a lot less likely to go over your calories because it's such a small window that you're eating in. With keto diet, and all those other diets, when you pull a macronutrient or a whole food group, you're still going to be a lot less likely to go over your calories. Just make sure whatever diet you choose that you can recreate your environment so that it suits you. Make sure that you can see yourself doing this for the rest of your life.